Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Swedish ebook before it's gone. Most people who learn a foreign language learn it so that they can one day have real-life conversations with native speakers. When you start out learning and crack open your first textbook or listen to your first podcast, having a real conversation can feel like a fantasy. When everything about a language feels new, it can be overwhelming. But this couldn't be further from the truth. While it does take a significant amount of time and effort to become fluent, having a conversation might not be as far off as you think. In this video, we'll look at 3 ways you can boost your conversational skills and start talking to native speakers. Number 1. Find native speakers and practice with them. It's unlikely you live near a big group of native speakers to practice with. If you happen to be in a major or international city, your chances may be better. Check and see if your city has a general language exchange. Chances are there could be a native speaker there who is also trying to learn another language. Practicing in person with a native speaker is probably the most interesting option for honing your speaking skills. But if you can't find anyone where you live, the next best option is to look online. Luckily for language learners, the past 10 years or so have seen an explosion in online language exchange sites. On these websites, you can search for someone who is a native speaker of your target language and is also learning your native language. The idea behind a language exchange is that you communicate with them via video or text chat, and half of the time, they help you practice your target language, and for the other half, you help them practice theirs. Practicing via an online language exchange is a highly effective way to practice your conversational skills. Number 2. Work on pronunciation. Pronunciation is often an overlooked skill when it comes to learning a foreign language. Most people think of a good foreign accent as a luxury rather than a necessity. But what most people don't talk about is how having a good accent boosts your listening and comprehension skills. If you can hear a sound from a foreign language and know how to make it yourself, then you're more likely to understand native speakers when they talk at normal speed, and you're also more likely to remember any new words or phrases you come across. Having a good accent means that the language no longer sounds foreign. Instead, it sounds familiar, maybe even natural. So how do you go about perfecting your accent? The best way is to break down the language into its individual sounds. Make note of any sounds that are the same or similar to your native language and of those that are different. Of the sounds that are different, spend your time practicing the ones that you find the hardest to say correctly. After you're comfortable with the individual sounds, you can start linking together words and phrases. This is where accent practice starts to get really fun and interesting. Get your hands on some native speaker audio from a TV show, song, or podcast. Play the audio back and listen closely a few times. Take note of how words blend together in speech. Then, do your best to imitate what you hear, trying to match the speaker's emphasis and intonation. Our language learning program's playback feature is perfect for this. Record yourself and compare it to the original recording. Rinse and repeat until you're comfortable with the audio selection, and then move on to something more difficult. This is how you can break through the accent barrier and really start to make the language your own. Number 3. Learn phrases, not just individual words. Learning grammar and individual words is great, but it's not the only approach you should take if you want to speak fluently. In addition to your regular grammar and vocabulary, try learning whole phrases, even if you aren't totally sure how they work grammatically. Learn phrases that are specific to your needs. It's a good idea to learn phrases that are grouped around a certain setting or subject, such as simple greetings or introductions, questions for getting to know someone, or traveling comfortably. You can even learn filler phrases, which you can use so that you have something to say when, well, you don't know what to say. Learning phrases like this will help you become conversational faster. You may not understand what you're saying literally, but as long as you know the general meaning behind the phrase and know when to use it, you'll be able to talk like a native. Eventually, your knowledge of grammar and vocabulary should catch up with the phrases you know. Learning a new language should feel like an adventure. There will be plateaus and periods in your learning where it feels like you're hitting a wall, but being able to speak with native speakers and have real conversations will help you combat language fatigue. After all, talking to someone face-to-face in a foreign language is one of the main reasons we start learning in the first place. And for even more ways to gain conversation skills, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hey, hello. Very basic, simple. You say hey. It works for everybody, whoever you meet. You say hey and they will probably respond with another hey back to you. God morgon. Good morning. Bit more formal, nice and polite for the mornings. Means the same as in English, means good morning. God eftermiddag. Good afternoon. Same, polite and nice, but of course used in the afternoon. And again, it's the same meaning as in English. It means good afternoon. God eftermiddag. Good afternoon. God natt. Good night. Most of the time it's used for when you're going to sleep. So yeah, when you wish someone a nice night, good night's sleep, this is what you say. Vad heter du? What's your name? Very easy, we're not that formal in Sweden, so and again it's the same meaning word by word. It means what's your name? You ask what someone is called. Jag heter Hanna. I'm Hannah. Meaning is just my name is Hannah, and I do of course recommend you to not say Hannah but use your own name instead. It might get a bit weird if you just copy my name. Unless your name is Hannah, of course. Trevligt att träffas. Nice to meet you. Same meaning as in English again. Always you can use this when you meet someone, like when you introduce yourself. But you can also use it when you say goodbye and you want to tell them that it was nice getting to know them, nice meeting them. First time or every time. So there's no wrong time for using this one when you want to tell someone that it was nice seeing them. Hur mår du? How are you? Nice and easy short phrase. Sometimes in Sweden we do respond like, oh, it's all good, even though it's not. And sometimes if you know someone closer, they probably give you a more thorough explanation, tell them a bit more about what's going on in their life. So this can either be just a polite phrase or when you sincerely mean to, find out more about what's going on in someone's life. Jag mår bra tack. Och du? I'm fine thanks. And you? Yeah, so maybe this is the polite version of the answer if everything is good, or if everything is good. So this is just the most common way to respond if someone asks you like, what's going on? It's all good. I don't want to go too deep into whatever is going on in your life, but it's nice and polite. And of course it ends with asking someone back how they are. Snälla. Please. In Swedish we use this word snälla. It's the meaning of snäll is nice, kind, and sometimes we use the word for thanks instead, like in the end of the sentence, like, can you pass me the salt please? We say tack, thanks, instead of this word. But you can swap them, you can use either of the two and it's still going to be a nice way of asking someone to maybe help you or answer a question or something. Tack, thank you. Here we go with this word. Tack, thank you, or thanks. I would say that it's more like thanks. It's the short, nice, not very formal way of just saying thanks. I think maybe this is the most useful word in any language, don't you think? Like every time if someone helps you with the door or something, you can thank them, and that's one of the first things for me at least that I want to learn how to say in the language. Thank people for helping me. Varsågod. You're welcome. Maybe you help someone sometimes and they say thank you for helping them, holding a door or something. I guess in almost every country it's like the norm that you, maybe if someone is carrying a lot of stuff or someone elderly walks by, you hold the door for them. And in Sweden, if they say thank you, you reply with this phrase for you're welcome. So, varsågod. You're welcome. Ja. Yes. It's just yes, you know. When you want to say, you can add the yes please, ja tack. But it's just yes, easy. Nej. No. Also, nej, short and easy, is just the word to say no. You can add the politer version, say no thanks. Then you just say nej tack. So this is actually fun. You can combine the words in this lesson a lot to create more polite sentences. Okay. Okay. So this one you kind of already knew if you know the English version. And I've heard that okay is one of the most common words in the world these days. It's used in a lot of languages, almost the same pronunciation, almost the same spelling as well. So, okay. That one always works. Ursäkta mig. Excuse me. For when you want to maybe walk by someone is standing in your way, like maybe accidentally blocking a door or something, you just want to politely ask them if you can step by or if they could move to the side, then you use this one. Also, if you want to get attention, you use this, like, excuse me, to get some attention. Maybe in a restaurant or something like that. Förlåt. Sorry. Maybe almost as useful as knowing how to say thanks. You can say this, I'm sorry. And this is maybe more on an emotional level than the phrase for excuse me. It's a bit similar to English there too, I think, that you use. This is more like serious, maybe deeper level. Maybe you hurt someone, or it doesn't have to be like that super emotional, but maybe you accidentally hurt someone. Then you say sorry. Vad är klockan? What time is it? So in Sweden we don't use the AM PM, but we use the 1, 2, 3, 4, then we say 13, 14, 15 hours for the afternoon time. And so that's also a good thing to remember when asking about time, that maybe someone will tell you, oh, it's 14, then they actually mean 2 p.m. So that's a good fact to have when you ask for the time, so that you understand what they tell you. Var är toaletten? Where is the restroom? Good one to know, you all. I guess you've sometimes been somewhere and you really needed a restroom. I think that's like part of being human. And then asking for it in the right language can actually be crucial not to have an accident. So actually, as you might have heard when I said it, it's quite similar to the word toilet. So toilet. So you can probably use toilet and get around, but it's always good to know how to ask for this. Vänta ett ögonblick. Wait a moment. Maybe in a restaurant or in a store, if you order something or buy something, they just need to, fix something before they can help you. Then this is what they will tell you, to just wait a moment. And hopefully it's just a moment and not longer. Hur mycket kostar det här? How much is this? So except for getting food, maybe the next thing you need to solve when you're traveling is to buy some things, do some shopping. And then, of course, in Sweden we don't haggle. So when you ask for the price, you'll get what you're expected to pay. There are a few exceptions to this, like a few markets where you can haggle and discuss the price, but most places it's just fixed. So when you ask for it, you'll get the answer you need. Kan jag få notan, tack? Could I get the check, please? This is for asking to pay. In a restaurant, you can just raise your hand and ask for the check and you'll be able to pay. Kan jag få notan, tack? Could I get the check, please? Hjälp. Help. I hope you don't have to use this one anytime at all, because it might mean that you're in a tricky situation, but if you do end up in one, it's of course useful to be able to scream for help. Quite similar to the English one, hjälp. So just hjälp, and hopefully someone will run over and help you with whatever it is that you're getting yourself into. Actually, Swedes can be a bit, maybe they won't approach you if you look like you don't need help, so if you like pretend that you're okay, so it's actually good to ask for it if you need it. Vi ses senare. See you later. This is, it can either mean that you will see each other later, but you can also just use it to be nice, like, you know, hope to see you later, but you just say see you later as if you will actually see them, but it's kind of a nice way of saying that you hope to see them later. So, vi ses senare. Or, as you would usually say, actually in Swedish you would say vi ses sen. Sen, instead of senare. So that's a shorter version. A bit more of slang, but you can maybe start with the correct one. Hej då. Goodbye. Short and easy, a version of the hey that we used to say hello. You add a little part in the end, and you can use this for anyone. It's also like, doesn't matter if they are older or younger or anything like that. Use the same word.
Hej allihopa! Jag är Engla. Som ni kanske vet så firar även vi i Sverige nyår. Vi firar med familj eller vänner och avslutar med fyrverkerier för att välkomna det nya året. Nyårsafton infaller varje år den 31 december. I den här lektionen kommer du få lära dig om hur vi firar nyår i Sverige, varför vi gör som vi gör och vilka speciella traditioner som finns i anknytning till nyårsfirandet. Vet du vilka de 2 vanligaste nyårslöftena är i Sverige? Vi ger dig svaret i slutet av den här videon. Nyår firas väldigt olika beroende på hur gammal du är och vad dina intressen är. En familj med unga barn firar oftast tillsammans och lagar en god middag som ofta innehåller hummer eller oxfilé. Nyårsafton ska kännas så lyxig som möjligt, så de vuxna brukar även dricka champagne. Efter middagen är det inte ovanligt att man spelar brädspel tillsammans, äter chips och kollar på TV. Den engelska sketchen Grevinnan och betjänten har sänds i svensk TV sedan 1976 och har blivit tradition att titta på. Om du är tonåring eller bara inte har egna barn så firar du nog hellre med vänner och bekanta och har en stor eller mindre fest. Oftast klär man upp sig i finkläder, gärna med glitter. Man måste ju vara fin inför det nya året. På nyårsafton dricks det även väldigt mycket alkohol och folk brukar bli redigt berusade långt innan 12-slaget. I båda dessa fall brukar nyårsafton avslutas med ett stort fyrverkeri. I Sverige är det tradition att skjuta upp sina egna raketer eller bara titta på andras. När klockan slagit 12 skjuter man upp sina raketer, skålar i champagne och avger sina nyårslöften. Ett vanligt fenomen är även att ge någon en nyårspuss. Som jag nämnde tidigare är det i Sverige tradition att titta på den engelska sketchen Grevinnan och betjänten på nyårsafton. Trots att den är från Storbritannien så har den aldrig visats i brittisk TV och är helt okänd där. Och nu ska ni få svaret på quizet vi hade tidigare. Vet du vilka de 2 vanligaste nyårslöftena är i Sverige? Svaret är att börja träna och att sluta röka. Det är vanligt att man efter nyår vill förändra sin livsstil till det bättre och bli hälsosammare och få bort de extra kilorna man lagt på sig under julen. Hur var den här lektionen? Lärde du dig något intressant? Hur firar du nyår i ditt land? Lämna oss en kommentar på swedishpod101.com. Vi ses nästa lektion! jag är Engla. I Sverige firar vi julafton och inte juldagen. Så dagen alla barn och kanske vuxna längtar till är den 24 december. I den här lektionen kommer du få lära dig om julafton i Sverige och vad vi gör när vi firar den. Vet du vad det första tomten säger när han kommer hem till en svensk familj på julafton är? Vi ger dig svaret i slutet av den här videon. I Sverige är det tradition att fira jul med familj och släkt. Det är vanligt att hela släkten samlas runt 12-tiden för att äta en gemensam jullunch. Jullunchen brukar bestå av bland annat risgrynsgröt och mackor med julskinka. Det är heller inte ovanligt att man äter jullunchen först och sen samlas släkten. Man gör lite som man vill. Efter lunch, klockan 15.00, börjar Kalle Anka på TV. Varje julafton sedan 1960 har samma Kalle Anka-program sänds i svensk TV och har blivit en klassiker. Varje år hamnar programmet i topp 5 över de mest sedda TV-programmen under året. 2012 var det hela 3 900 000 personer som tittade. Tänk då på att Sverige bara har cirka 9 miljoner invånare. Ganska häftigt, eller hur? Efter Kalle Anka brukar man börja med middagen. På ett svenskt julbord brukar vi duka fram inlagd sill, potatis, prinskorv, köttbullar, Janssons frestelse, lax med mer. Till detta dricker vi ofta julöl eller julmust. Julmust är en läsk som konsumeras vid jul och påsk. På påsken ändrar den dock namn till påskmust. Receptet är hemligt och enbart 3 personer känner till de exakta ingredienserna. Efter middagen delar vi ut julklappar till varandra och ibland kommer tomten. På julafton brukar en familjemedlem låtsas gå och köpa tidningen men kommer sedan tillbaka utklädd till jultomten och börjar julklappsutdelningen. Och nu ska ni få svaret på quizet vi hade tidigare. Vet du vad det första tomten säger när han kommer hem till en svensk familj på julafton är? Svaret är ho ho ho, finns det några snälla barn här? När tomten frågat detta brukar barnen svara att de har varit snälla och sedan får de julklappar. Självklart får de julklappar även om de varit stygga. Hur var den här lektionen? Lärde du dig något intressant? Vad önskar du dig i julklapp? Lämna oss en kommentar på swedishpod101.com. Vi ses nästa lektion! Hej allihopa, jag är Engla. Påsken infaller någon gång mellan den 22 mars och 25 april. Den dagen vi firar mest är påskafton som infaller lördagen innan påskdagen. I den här lektionen kommer du få lära dig om svenska traditioner vid påsk. Kan du gissa hur mycket godis svenskarna åt under påsken 2010? Vi ger dig svaret i slutet av den här videon. Under påsk finns det många olika speciella dagar. En av dem är skärtorsdagen och brukar firas genom att barnen går påskkärring. Enligt gamla tradition är påskkärringen en häxa som flyger på kvast till Blåkulla under skärtorsdagen och återvänder på påskdagen. Så under skärtorsdagen går barn runt i grupp, utklädda till påskkärringar och ger egenmålade påskkort och önskar en trevlig påsk till grannar och bekanta. Som tack blir de bjudna på godis. På påsken äter vi mycket, precis som på alla andra helgdagar i Sverige. På påsken äter vi ungefär samma saker som på julen, fast med lax och äggen i fokus. Till skillnad från julmaten är påskmaten en smula lättare. Vad man äter brukar dock variera lite från region till region. Påskafton är påskens motsvarighet till julafton. På påskafton får nämligen barnen påskägg gjorda av papp fyllda med godis. Beroende på hur kreativa föräldrar man har får ibland barnen gå på skattjakt och leta efter dessa ägg. Det sägs att det är påskharen som kommer med äggen, så då tycker barnen kanske det känns mer äkta och troligt om äggen ligger gömda i trädgården. Påskens motsvarighet till julgran är påskriset. I Sverige tar vi in björkris och klär med målade ägg och färgglada fjädrar. På offentliga platser brukar påskgrisen stå utan vatten eftersom lösprickningen kan orsaka problem för allergiker. Och nu ska ni få svaret på quizet vi hade tidigare. Kan du gissa hur mycket godis svenskarna åt under påsken 2010? Svaret är 6 000 ton godis. Svenskarna äter faktiskt cirka 17 kilo godis per person och år, vilket är dubbelt så mycket som genomsnitt i EU. Det är även mest i världen. Hur var den här lektionen? Lärde du dig något intressant? Ska du gå påskkärring i år? Lämna oss en kommentar på swedishpod101.com. Vi ses nästa lektion! Hej allihopa! Jag är Engla. Midsommarafton infaller en fredag mellan den 19 och den 25 juni och är sommarens stora fest som även brukar vara startskottet för många svenskars sommarledighet. I den här lektionen får du lära dig om vad midsommar är och hur vi firar det i Sverige. Vet du vad som händer om du på midsommarafton lägger 7 olika sorters blommor under kudden? Vi ger dig svaret i slutet av den här videon. Midsommarafton firas nära sommarsolståndet, som är det dygnet när dagen är som längst och natten som kortast. Ursprunget till att man firar den här dagen är just för att glädjas åt den längsta dagen på året. Den korrekta dagen att fira midsommar på vore det alltså den 21 juni, då sommarsolståndet brukar inträffa. Midsommarafton är konstigt nog inte en allmän helgdag i Sverige, även om den i lagtexter jämställs med helgdagar som julafton och påskafton. På midsommarafton är det tradition att resa en midsommarstång. Midsommarstången är utformad som ett kors och kläs med björklöv och blommor. Sedan dansar man i stor grupp runt stången och sjunger olika sånger, oftast ackompanjerat av dragspel. Kvinnor och barn brukar göra egna kransar av björklöv och blommor som de har i håret. Man får dock akta sig för fästingar. På midsommar är det nog bra om du är extra försiktig. I samband med midsommar finns en stark tradition av alkoholkonsumtion. Det är vanligt att dricka snaps och sjunga snapsvisor till maten för att senare på kvällen övergå till lite andra alkoholhaltiga drycker. Detta gör midsommar till en av de dagarna på året då mest fylleri och bråk inträffar. Eftersom midsommar är starten på många semester är det många som reser just den här tiden. På grund av detta inträffar mycket trafikolyckor. Små grodorna är en sång som sjungs när vi dansar runt midsommarstången. Dansen är rolig och de dansande imiterar grodor. Dansen brukar bli extra populär efter ett par snaps. Och nu ska ni få svaret på quizet vi hade tidigare. Vet du vad som händer om du på midsommarafton lägger 7 olika sorters blommor under kudden? Det sägs att om du lägger 7 olika sorters blommor under kudden på midsommarafton så kommer du drömma om personen du kommer att gifta dig med i framtiden. Hur var den här lektionen? Lärde du dig något intressant? Har du någon liknande festival i ditt land? Lämna oss en kommentar på swedishpod101.com. Vi ses nästa lektion! Jag är Engla. Valborgsmässoafton firas den 30 april och grundar sig antagligen på en hednisk högtid från Tyskland, men har under årens lopp firats av en väldans många olika anledningar. I den här lektionen får du lära dig om varför vi firar valborg i Sverige idag och vad valborgsmässoafton haft för betydelse förr. Vet du vad som händer dagen efter valborgsmässoafton den 1 maj? Vi ger dig svaret i slutet av den här videon. Förr i tiden, när kristendomen kommit till Sverige, trodde man att häxorna på valborgsmässonatten red på kvastar eller getter till gamla offerplatser och gjorde ofog i djävulens sällskap. För att oskadliggöra sig mot dessa dumma saker tände människor eldar och förde oväsen. Valborgsmässoafton handlade alltså om att skydda sig från häxor och skrämma bort onda andar. Nu för tiden är det väldigt få som sammankopplar valborg med att skrämma iväg häxor. Innan kristendomen kom till Sverige firade man våren och ljuset tände eldar för att bränna det gamla för att få plats för det nya. Sveriges vinter är väldigt lång och mörk, så det var en självklarhet att fira när äntligen ljuset tittade fram. Nu för tiden brukar man göra upp en stor eld där man samlas, sjunger sånger, grillar korv och myser. Valborg är även en stor högtid för många av Sveriges och Finlands universitet och högskolor. Den 30 april sätter man på sig sin studentmössa och många event arrangeras. Vanligtvis brukar orkestrar spela och vårtal hållas. Ibland arrangeras även tävlingar. I studentstaden Uppsala äger den så kallade Forsränningen rum varje år sedan 1975. Varje år samlas tusentals människor för att titta på. På hednisk tid firade man i Norden en äldre högtid som var kopplad till de döda. Gränsen mellan de leva och döda ansågs vara svagast just under den här natten. Och nu ska ni få svaret på quizet vi hade tidigare. Vet du vad som händer dagen efter valborgsmässoafton, den 1 maj? Den 1 maj brukar olika vänsterorganisationer demonstrera och hålla möten runt om i hela världen och inte minst i Sverige. Den första 1 maj-demonstrationen hölls i Sverige år 1890. Hur var den här lektionen? Lärde du dig något intressant? Tror du på häxor? Lämna oss en kommentar på swedishpod101.com. Vi ses nästa lektion!
Hej, jag heter Elin. Trevligt att träffas. Hi, I'm Elin. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Swedish expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Swedish. There are only 2 sentences you need. Hej, jag heter Elin. Trevligt att träffas. Hi, I'm Elin. Nice to meet you. Hej, jag heter Elin. Trevligt att träffas. Start by saying, hej, jag heter. Then say your name. Hej, jag heter Elin. Finally say, trevligt att träffas. Hej, jag heter Elin. Trevligt att träffas. And now let's see the same sentence in a different format. Hallå, Elin. Trevligt att träffas. Hello, Elin. Nice to meet you. Hallå, Elin. Trevligt att träffas. So, what a change from the previous introduction. Let's take a close look at these together. Hey has been substituted with an alternative greeting, hallå, Swedish for hello. Jag heter Elin has been shortened to just Elin. In this sentence, it's implied that I am introducing myself as Elin. In a formal setting, you would say your full name. One more time. One way to introduce yourself in Swedish is hej, jag heter Elin. Trevligt att träffas. An alternative way to introduce yourself is hallå, Elin. Trevligt att träffas. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying tack. In this lesson, we learned some of the most common greetings used in Sweden. Är ni redo? Are you ready? Så låt oss börja. So let's start. The most commonly used informal greeting is hej. Hey. Hey means hi. We use it when we meet people. We can use this greeting with anyone. Yet, it isn't the only way to greet someone. We also have hallå. Hallå, which means hello. And more time-specific greetings like god dag. God dag. Literally, god dag means good day. As a rule of thumb, we can use god dag only during the daytime, from morning until evening. During the evening we say god kväll. God kväll. Kväll is Swedish for evening. So god kväll means good evening. Finally, in the morning we say god morgon. God morgon. This means good morning. However, instead of god dag and god kväll, it's much more common to just use hej. God morgon, on the other hand, is still the most common phrase to use in the morning. When saying goodbye, we say hej då. Hej då. When parting for a long time, we often add ha det bra. Ha det bra, which means be well. Finally, in Swedish, we have an expression meaning see you soon that can be considered both formal and informal. Vi ses. Vi ses. Now you can greet people in many different ways in Swedish. Let's review them all again. When meeting friends or someone we don't know, hej. There also is hallå. In the morning, god morgon. During the day, god dag. And in the evening, god kväll. When leaving, we say hej då. When leaving but want to imply see you soon, vi ses. To which we sometimes add ha det bra or be well. It's easy, isn't it? In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Swedish. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Swedish, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the most common way to say it. Talar du engelska? Talar du engelska? Swedish is a pretty straightforward language. We conjugate verbs based on time, which means we have past, present, and infinitive. The question, talar du engelska, translates as, are you speaking English? As in English, speaking is the present tense, talar. The second word in the sentence, du, simply means you. And you probably recognize engelska to be English. Talar du engelska? Like in English, there are a whole bunch of ways to ask this question. Let's see another one. It literally means, do you know English? Kan du tala engelska? Kan du tala engelska? When asking this question to someone you don't know, begin by saying ursäkta mig or excuse me. Ursäkta mig, kan du tala engelska? Ursäkta mig, kan du tala engelska? As you might have noticed, the verb tala is slightly different than talar. Remember, the verb changes depending on the time it is in. We are now talking about the infinitive since it is coupled with kan, which means can. The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Ja, yes. Ja. Lite, a little. Lite. Nej, jag talar inte engelska. No, I don't speak English. Nej, jag talar inte engelska. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to put inte after the verb talar. Inte means not. Jag talar inte engelska literally translates into I speak not English. Now it's time for Elin's insights. For those of you who are not just English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Swedish people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute engelska with italienska for Italian, franska for French, spanska for Spanish, tyska for German. In the last lesson, we learned some words used when apologizing in Swedish, including ursäkta and förlåt. In this lesson, we're going to learn numbers in Swedish. Yes, numbers, nummer, from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in only 3 minutes. 3 minuter. Are you ready? Let's start. 1. 1. 2. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. 9. 9. 10. 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Great job! What is before 1? Do you know? It's 0, the number 0. 0. You don't have any more excuses. Now you can give your friends your cell phone number in Swedish. Let's try together. We use the phrase mitt nummer är, which means my number is. Mitt nummer är. Mitt nummer är 22135874. Can you read it by yourself? Två, två, ett, tre, fem, åtta, sju, fyra. Perfect! Now it's time for Elin's insights. Sometimes in Swedish lunch restaurants, you get a number after ordering your food. When your food is ready, they will call your number. Nummer 1, nummer 2, and so on. Learn your numbers well so you can be ready. In the last lesson, we learned how to count in Swedish. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers, because they will come in handy in this lesson. We're going to learn how to go shopping in Sweden. Before we go, you need to know how to say, how much is it? Hur mycket kostar det? Hur mycket kostar det? Are you ready to go shopping in Sweden? Let's go! When you see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs, the first thing to say is ursäkta. Do you remember what that means? That's right, excuse me. Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar den? Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar den? Now in Swedish, if you're asking about the price of an object, you put either den or det at the end of the sentence, depending on the object you are asking about. There is no rule for when to use den or det. You just have to learn word by word. However, don't worry, Swedes will understand perfectly even if you use the wrong one. Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar det? Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar det? Except for den and det, there's one more pronoun you can use. When pointing at pairs or a bundle of something, you change the pronoun to dom. Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar de? Excuse me, how much do these cost? Ursäkta, hur mycket kostar de? At this point, the shop clerk can answer by saying den kostar, det kostar, or det kostar. For example, den kostar 55 kronor. Det kostar 55 kronor. Or det kostar 55 kronor. Note that the word dom turned into det when put in front of the object. What number is 55? I'm not telling you. Okay, it's 55. It cost 55 kronor. Now it's time for Elin's insights. The pronoun you will use most often is det, because not only is it used to ask prices of objects, but also services, like getting a haircut. So get used to asking, hur mycket kostar det? Hur mycket kostar det?
When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Swedish ebook before it's gone.